in the desktop. So I moved to the browser, and I still couldn't do it. And I was like, we're not gonna worry about it.
Wait, what?
So,
really?
Yeah, it was still grayed out for me. It was very strange.
Okay, that is weird. I have a solution for that. But anyway, welcome, subscribers.
Hello.
We are talking about Fairy Tale again. We're through with movies and ramen for now.
But it'll be back, don't worry.
It'll be
back.
I guess we've only done one ramen review, right? Or did you guys do more?
Did you?
Just
I have another pack.
Oh.
If somebody else wants to do a ramen review.
Oh my gosh.
It's in my desk at work.
Please, I hope it's a different one. I hope it's not the one that I...
It's the same one.
Oh no, I'm not eating it.
Finally aged.
It's so bad.
It's like congealed paste.
You should give it to like Ben. Make Ben eat it and be like, Ben, please review this on camera. Or Josh or so. I don't know.
Ben would be really entertaining.
But I feel like Ben would be hilarious.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you eat this on purpose?
We love it. It's great, promise.
Where are you at in Fairy Tale now?
Oh gosh, I guess I don't have my book in front of me. I'm a terrible book club member.
Mine's not in front of me either.
I literally don't know what chapter I'm on.
Who cares?
Chapter number.
Certainly not the page number. Actually, yeah. Anyway, let's see what's been happening. Okay, so Charlie, I think the last time I left off, Charlie was just getting to his or just about to go to his first like playtime or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah,
like
when
the like training thing.
When they're battling each other.
Yeah. I think actually
Fair Day.
Fair One, which is weird that they call it that, because then they also call there's like the Fair One, which is like the person who's supposed to be their savior or whatever. Maybe I just misread that. I got confused by that. For a page or two, I got confused and I was like, huh? Are they talking about the person or the event?
Yes.
I don't know. Both. Anyway, so I think the last time we had a meeting, I had left off with him leaving or trying to make it out of the city before.
Yeah.
So obviously he did not. And then he, got put in that dungeon. And I really love the description of the night soldiers, by the way. They sound so cool.
Right. Where they're like
the glowing skeleton things.
Yeah.
In the pictures that they've had, like at the beginning of the chapters, they look really, really
They look
cool.
wild, yeah.
I would almost love to see it made into a movie just so I can see how whoever creates it, creates them. Let's see, where am I at though? So I am they're like eating lunch in between the actual Fair One like competition or whatever. There's I think they had the first 2 rounds and now they're like breaking for lunch or something, and then they're gonna have I think the last 2 rounds or something, or last 3. I don't remember how many rounds there are. Anyway, so we have met Claw, the giant muscled man. Is that his name? Claw, yeah, CLA.
Okay.
The really, really giant, huge dude who's
it's like Charlie, the last guy that comes in.
Yes, the one who makes it 31 or 32.
Right.
And Charlie keeps talking about how he's eye fucking him, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's just staring him down and trying to psych him out. And I don't know, you could just by his description, you could say that Charlie's gonna lose, Charlie's gonna die, but then you think Charlie can't die. He's not allowed to die.
Yeah, I love Charlie.
I don't know. It's weird when they kill if an author kills or a writer kills their main character, but it has happened before.
Yeah.
It's not a weird
kind
concept.
Of reminds me of Scream. So I looked up the Easter eggs and references for Scream.
Oh, yeah.
And so you'll remember that 1996, like mid-90s, Drew Barrymore was actually a pretty big actress at the time.
Yeah,
Not so much now. Like, she doesn't do as many movies now, but yeah, at
She's
that
got like her
time,
talk show or something. Yeah. Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you see that she's in that opening scene, you automatically assume like, oh, well, she's a big name star. She's going to survive probably, till the end of the movie, if not survive completely. And it's
Right.
really shocking when she dies within the first 10 minutes, like in that initial scene.
Right.
And that was directly pulled from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which also featured a
yes.
very famous female
Yep, that's
lead
right. I don't remember her name.
who dies pretty rapidly in the
Yeah.
movie. And it shocked audiences because they're like, whoa, we thought, this is your like headliner, and then you killed her off like so quickly. So that was a direct
Okay.
I guess you could say callback to Psycho, which I thought
That's
was really
awesome.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny because when we were watching it, I remember seeing her and thinking like, oh, she must not be a big actress yet. Must be before like some of her big things because they kill her in 10 minutes. So it was funny kind of having that, like watching it years later, meta knowledge, and then to realize that like, oh no, they did that on purpose. She was a big actress. It's
right.
cool. It's cool to discover that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, and you think about it like I guess all the other characters that you meet after that, while some of them, yes, we know their names today, then they were probably mostly nobodies. Maybe besides what's her name who's in Friends, because she would have been in Friends at that point.
Oh, Courtney Cox?
Courtney Cox. I mean, I think people would have known her by then because Friends was on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think Friends was on by then.
Yeah.
Was it 99 when the movie came out, or 96?
1996. 1996 was, yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that's crazy, I might have mentioned this already, but like, yeah, Wes Craven making that in 96 is wild because he was making horror movies even back in the like late 70s. So he was like active in the 70s, 80s, 90s, probably even 2000s, because he did The People Under the Stairs, Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes.
Wait, that would be the original Last House on the Left, which I cannot watch. It's so graphic. Yeah, I think I've seen not the original, the remake, and then some friends and I in high school were like, well, let's watch the original one from the 70s, and we couldn't finish it. Or it's like, this is too like too depraved. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was really, really wild and very graphic for the time. Like since it came out in the late 70s. I think it might have even been classified as an exploitation film versus a horror film.
I'll be honest, I could see that. I could see why they might call it that, because there's some scenes that they show, there's like I could be totally remembering it wrong, but they just like, I don't think there was any music, and not having music makes it feel way more real, right? Almost like you're legitimately sitting in front of them watching like this guy torture these people and like remove their intestines, and I don't know, I don't remember specifically what happens. I just remember I was like, I can't watch this.
Ooh. Is that what happened?
I could be totally remembering that piece wrong, but at least it felt a little bit too real.
Okay.
Like I was watching real torture happen.
Yeah. That's
and
freaky.
That was like, it was too much for me.
Yeah.
I can handle quite a lot in movies and TV shows, I feel like, but that was another level for me.
Yeah. I getcha. I vaguely remember watching the original. Like when I was like, I want to say like 14, like high school. But I remember it was super graphic, super crazy, and
Mhm.
it made me uncomfortable, but I don't really remember much beyond that.
Yeah, I think
Right.
now that maybe I never watched it. I know I had it for a while, but I
Mm.
don't remember it being super graphic, and I would have remembered that. So I think I just had it and never got around to watching it.
Oh.
Maybe. Okay, I might be because there's obviously a lot of horror movies that were made in the 70s, and there's definitely more than one that ended up being really graphic like that. Is
Yeah.
is this the one, if you remember, Jeremy,
Mhm.
where okay, so one of the guys, um
I love seeing you like,
I know, it's like, I'm literally imagining the scene in my head, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So one of the people who like one of the guys who breaks, because it's more than one person who breaks into the house, right? It's like a
Yeah,
lake
yeah,
house, right?
I think you're on the right track,
It's like a,
yeah.
it's like at least a couple guys, maybe three.
Uh-huh, yep,
So one
yep.
of the guys goes after the wife, um, and he forces her to give him a blowjob, but in her response, she literally clamps down on him with her teeth and is like, they have a scene of her like yanking back and forth. Is that movie? Because that
Okay,
I remember. Totally.
I I want that to be real. I hope that's what happened. Yeah, so there's definitely, like, 3 or 4 guys that break into a home.
Right.
I
And
feel like
it's a
at
lake
some
house,
point,
isn't it? Is it a lake house? Or at least in the remake it's a lake house, I think.
don't they, like, kill some people, like, out in the woods too at
I
some
believe
point?
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and then they
so we're
make it to the house that they break
yeah,
into, right? I think.
this.
right.
That's also really hard to Google safely.
I know. I was just thinking maybe I'll just look it up. Then I was like, wait, how am I gonna do that?
Boop, boop. Oh.
Oh, great. Then I've gotten to some weird porn here.
Flop, flop.
The weirdest.
I don't want this.
Um, and, like, so after it, don't the victims then get revenge?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah, I believe. I'll be honest. Maybe I did watch the entire original movie. I know I've seen the whole remake, so maybe
okay,
I
okay.
could be misremembering like what is in which movie. But
Mm.
I think I know for a fact it's the 70s one where the mom is like yanking back and forth, and they were like, "We're not gonna put that in the 2012 movie or whatever."
I am watching the one from '77. I am watching that tonight. I am watching that
I'm pretty sure it's
tonight.
that movie. I could from be. It's also possible I'm misremembering, and it's another horror movie that was made in the 70s originally. I
Thanks
don't
for
know.
taking one for the team, Jeremy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it is that movie though. But I'm pretty sure. But eventually, yeah, they do get revenge on them because I think in maybe the remake with one of
Mhm.
them, um, like the dad or somebody stuffs like one of the guy's hands down like the garbage disposal and turns it on, which is like,
Oh my god.
I
That
know.
sounds amazing. Wow.
I
That is
think there's
so
one where he like
gnarly.
stuffs his head in the microwave and like turns the microwave on, which I don't know how. I guess he just like shoves the door closed as far as he could go and turns on I don't know. It's
And the
crazy.
microwave was like, no, okay, you tried. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
microwave.
sure. I'll microwave
Like
his head.
Gremlins 1.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that
Nice.
all happens in at least the like garbage disposal and microwave one. I think happens in the remake, but the
Okay.
other one, I'm pretty sure happens in the 70s one,
Oh my
the the
gosh.
original. Man, I really want to
It's
Google it, but I'm scared.
it's funny that you mentioned that. So me and Misha start talking about horror movies, and she's like, "Have you ever seen Teeth?" I was like,
I've seen
What's
it.
Teeth?"
It's wild.
Oh,
Did
you've
she?
seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it in high school with some friends because not like I don't even think it ever hit theaters. That movie's not gonna hit theaters. But we rented it because we were like, this movie sounds crazy. Did she explain it to you?
She was like, "Think of a vagina, but it has teeth." And then she uses it to bite guys' dicks off. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Huh?
And
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, she bites so many dicks off. I was like,
You
oh,
heard
I'm
me.
watching this.
So many. It's not I'll be honest, it's not like that great of a movie, which I guess isn't surprising. But it's equal parts like hilarious and horrifying too. 'Cause I
That
think she like
sounds
I think at the beginning she gets raped and then she just takes her revenge out on like gross men or something
perfect.
like
I'm down for that.
it's horrible and great at the same time.
I have too many
I
questions.
I think
so
that's yeah, I would be concerned if you had 0 questions.
that
Are they natural teeth? Is it some type of bear
Yeah.
trapped situation, like bear trap surgery?
So they base it off of if I remember correctly, they base it off of like this ancient sort of I don't want to say god or like goddess, but they sort of explain that like it's a rare thing, but if you go back and like look through this whatever civilizations like their statues that
Mythology.
mythology or theology or whatever, they have like drawings and like little statues that they made of like whatever they call this thing, and so turns out that she has that. And so it's like a total natural thing. It's not like a weird surgery or like a,
Cool.
I mean, I guess you could call it a mutation, but yeah, they sort of explain it as like
It's a
this ancient
denomination of very
civilization.
dark Hinduism.
Yeah, yeah, it's the dark side of Hinduism. Yeah, it's so she's just like born that way, but she doesn't know it until she, I think, I don't know. Well, maybe she doesn't get raped. I could be misremembering that.
Until it gets
I don't
hungry.
know. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, but somehow she figures out that like she's got teeth. I don't remember exactly how.
He realizes it one day.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure there's a scene where she's like having fun with herself and then she like cuts herself on her finger or something. I don't know. Maybe that's how she figures out something's weird.
Yeah. Or she visits her like OBGYN/dentist.
And chops his hand off or his fingers. Yeah. Oops.
Thanks for the
Sorry,
routine
doctor.
checkup. Sorry, you're bleeding out on the floor.
Sorry, you
Thomas,
don't have any fingers anymore.
this is already the best episode that we've ever done.
It's wonderful. I can't wait to see how you will title this one.
I may not even be able to.
We went from talking about how Charlie is in a death match or about to be to vagina teeth.
Vagina teeth. It's a great comment. I'm imagining Drew Barrymore and Donnie Darko, and it has like instead of cellar
Ooh.
door on the like chalkboard, it says vagina teeth. Like it's the most beautiful
Yes.
phrase in the English language.
Did
Love
you
it.
guys like Donnie Darko?
I love Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's a great one.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw the second one. I heard it was.
I heard it was
shameful.
bad, so I did
Yeah.
not. I chose not to watch it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
actively.
The first one was so unique. I don't think there was anything else like it in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
I really liked that first one.
And I watched it with my parents, so that was kind of a big deal to see something that was so
Oh.
like supernatural and like different. And like
Yeah.
experience that with my parents. That was like a really like big thing when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I can't believe they enjoyed that. Like
It's very strange. Yeah.
Interesting.
The bunny is always creepy. He still creeps me out.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Bunny
I
is
forgot
so
about that.
creepy.
It's so
Oh.
effing creepy.
Hits on the
Yeah.
mirror.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Was it Frank? What's his name? Frank?
Frank.
The
Yeah, I
bunny?
think it's Frank.
Yeah.
Which is like
Frank.
also a really bad name because it just sounds like an old pedophile. I don't know. Especially dressed like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Frank.
One of the things that I thought was so masterfully done with Fairy Tale, was where it doesn't seem to let up. Like it always has your attention.
It's constantly going. Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Like it's really, really hard to put down unless you're under extreme stress from work. And
I will say that
um,
anybody listening, if you are just absolutely buried in work,
yeah.
you may not be able to complete it, but
I
yeah.
I loved how it went from what's in the shed to let's explore this other world to that that tenseness that you feel as he's trying to follow, the initials throughout this like lost city.
Yeah, the
And
directions that he wrote down, like, and what is the
he's
gray, and like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
there's so much. Yeah.
He's just about to escape and you're like, "Yeah, get out of there." And then he gets captured. And then I felt this need to like see it through, to
Hmm.
see him escape from the prison, which made me want to keep reading even more because I was like,
Yeah.
well, I have, like you have
Yeah.
that feeling like he has to escape, like I have to keep going.
That's what I keep
And
thinking. Oh, that's right. That's right. Percy, the person that like feeds them food and whatever.
Mhm.
That's right. He got that note from Percy that's like there's a way out through the like not the team room, but the officials room or whatever.
Yeah.
And he hasn't he's only read it, so he hasn't like tried to figure out a way to get there or whatever cuz right now he's waiting for his weird death match with Claw.
Mhm.
yeah,
But yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. So I feel like he's got to attempt to
Mhm.
escape, right?
Exactly.
So I'm very curious. I can't wait to just see.
and I love the pacing change too. And it was really interesting to see how he kept that intensity of pacing up when there's so much time spent just being in prison. And I feel like he
Yeah.
really got this new sense of horror that's very different from like all the other experiences in the book of like being helpless and being locked in this place, but he still keeps up the intensity for the reader. Like you're still like really interested to see what's going on when he's just playing this waiting game and learning about his fellow inmates.
Right. Exactly. I love that's another thing I have loved about the whole being in prison part of the story is that he's piecing together the history
Mhm.
and just little facts and things that he finds out, and I love the just the piecing together part of it, and you're just slowly learning with him, and it's fascinating because it's like how did this all come to be, and it's
Yeah.
really cool the way that he's written that too. I love that.
Interesting. Um he references H.P. Lovecraft a ton in Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
And I was so motivated to read at least one story from Lovecraft, like, before I died. I was like, "How have I not
I'm
read
shocked.
anything from him?"
Yeah. I can't believe I've never picked up a book just to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I ended up reading, um what was it called? The Color the
Color of
Colors
Space.
the Color Space, that's
Mm,
right,
mhm.
Color Space. And it was interesting because, like, I think there might be some parallels because I was talking with you, Thomas, about this, where it's this meteor that crash lands into this town, and all the vegetation in the area dies, and all the plants in the area die. Any animals
Mm.
near it go insane, like horses that are near this
Yeah.
meteor go crazy, and people literally start wasting away, and it starts sucking the life force out of them as they turn gray if they stay near the
Oh.
crash site.
Yeah.
And um
Interesting.
I don't I don't know if that was done purposely, but I'm probably reading too much into it, but I did find that interesting.
I don't know. I feel like if he's referencing it quite a bit like that, it may at least be a small influence. At least just taking the fact that in fairy tale these people turn gray. Now, I'm assuming in the Lovecraft story they don't like seal up slowly either, right? I'm assuming they're literally just turn gray and they're like slowly almost losing their soul or something, or just, their life force, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just interesting seeing that parallel. So I was like, maybe
Yeah,
he
no, I
meant to
could
do that.
see some influence for sure. And I know nothing crash landed into what is it, Empus? But I guess I still don't, obviously I still haven't kind of quite gotten to how it all happened, but from what I've read, it sounds like this King Eldon, that was the younger brother, I believe, who was apparently very ugly.
Frog brother.
Decided to like kill all of his, yeah, frog brother. He looks like a frog, at least from the picture. Decided to kill his family and siblings and whatever so he could take the throne, but I guess he went down into this dark well. So even though something didn't crash land, he like descended and then came out of it as the flight killer, this extra thing, more than just what he was. So something emerged rather than crashing, I guess, and seemingly, I guess, spread the gray and other just, I don't know, illnesses or whatever.
That's really interesting that you just mentioned that, because thinking back to The Color of Space, so actually like the focal point of the story is actually in an abandoned well.
Oh,
And
interesting.
Oh,
there's
okay.
like a little boy that's like playing by the well, and then he disappears and dies. Like horses that get near the well like will go insane. They like put sticks down there to try and dredge the bottom to see if they can find anything down in the well, but they can't. And then at the end of, well, spoiler alert, I mean, the story is 100 years old.
It's okay. By the time I end up reading it, I'll probably have forgotten.
Same.
The very end of the short story, this like unnatural light shoots out of the well and goes straight into the sky, and that's basically like the alien presence leaving and going back into space
Okay.
to be like a cosmic horror somewhere else.
That alone feels very Stephen King to me.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
guess is H.P. Lovecraft because he wrote it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There might be some parallels there, because I mean, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
there might be more there than I originally thought.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, so in fairy tale at least, I don't know if at any point, um I I would assume because they keep talking about it, but I don't know if at any point Charlie comes across this dark well, but I'm curious to see what it's all about.
Maybe he will come across the
I would be
well.
extremely disappointed, and like Stephen King doesn't usually, if ever, disappoint me. So I would be extremely disappointed for him to mention it so often like that, and then you
Mhm.
never come across it. That would be weird. That's not like Stephen King at all to do that.
That's true. That's true.
Um, but you talking about this well that even horses getting near it or something like that in Color Space made me think of, I think, is it the Ring? Because there's a well in the Ring too, isn't there?
Oh, you're talking
Oh yeah, she
about
crawls out of
The
it.
movie, sorry, the horror movie.
the Japanese
Yeah.
one or the American one? I guess
Uh,
both.
to be fair, I think I've only seen the American one. I don't think I've seen the original one in
Mm-hmm.
Japanese. Um, but I would imagine the stories are basically the same, right? Between the two.
From what I remember, yeah.
Okay. So if it's been a really long time since I've seen The Ring, which is a really creepy movie too. um, I think there's a well in that as well. Huh.
Yeah, I
There
feel like she
is,
crawls
yes.
out of it. Yeah.
Right? She crawls out of the well,
Yep.
and didn't she die in the well?
Die
And
in
that's
it? I think so.
how,
Mhm.
yeah, something like that. And then like this family moves to the house or something that is like on the grounds where the well is or something like that. I don't know. I could be totally misremembering this. But I think there
Yeah.
is also a moment in that movie where even if like animals get near this well, they like go crazy. Um,
Oh.
but I can't
Yeah.
remember if that actually happens in The Ring. And so it made me think of that when you were describing it, if that actually happens in The Ring. But
Oh.
I honestly can't remember. But I know there's a well in The Ring at the very least that is like the source of this evil and
Right.
horror. So
That
it's a little bit of a similarity. Maybe they were whoever wrote it was a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and they're like,
Oh,
I'm gonna make
yeah.
a haunted well as well.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's just I had a brief thought about that.
I The thing that I remember the most about The Ring is they watched the video and there's like an upside down
Yes.
chair like rotating, like not being
Ooh,
held up by anything.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the
Oh,
chair.
I remember that
Interesting.
distinctly. They put in like a VHS tape and then there's
Yeah,
like this wooden chair like spinning around and it was
right.
very like a
Oh, no, okay, yeah. That sounds vaguely familiar. But
it
then there's a
reminded me
moment
of
where
like
she's
a
crawling out of the well in the video too, right?
yeah, because
Is
you
that
you
correct?
played the video and all
And
these
if you
strange things were happening in the video, and
okay.
then she would like come out of your TV and kind of like slime her way out of the
That's
TV.
right. Oh god.
Yeah,
Slime her way.
'cause yeah, she
That's
would just
pretty
kind of
accurate. She just kind of like
yeah, she was just kind of like like
yeah.
that. Like very,
But wasn't the whole like premise you had to make if you watched it, you were already doomed basically, right?
but it was
And
7 days later that you were doomed.
that you would actually die. So if you I think it was you had to make a copy of the VHS, right? And then you had to give it to which is so silly. I love it. Or maybe you just if the VHS you had to give to somebody else to watch and then you were fine. Like within 7 days time or whatever. Wasn't it
That
something
I
like
don't
that?
remember.
Yeah.
Something like
It
that.
was
Didn't
something like
There
that.
was some weird formula for survival.
and didn't
It's
he
almost like a
get
chain email, like
yeah,
reply all and send it to all your friends, otherwise you'll
right?
die at midnight tonight.
Which makes me think of that horror movie that Jeremy recommended, It Follows, because I watched that after we discussed it, and it was
Ooh, I need to watch
really
it.
good.
We
I
can
love
totally
simple
I
watch
need
that
to watch
again.
concepts.
it.
I would love to watch that again.
I need to watch it. I can watch it here.
Also,
Do
I find it interesting that, like, I guess in a lot of fantasy, when you get deeper into a realm, like a lot of times you get closer to truth and secrets and maybe goodness or like the source of magic. But it seems like with Stephen King, it's the opposite. Like the deeper you go into his like different world situations, the more horrible it becomes. So, and I
Yeah.
was thinking like with the well, like even it is
Hmm.
in like the waterworks of the city.
Yeah.
Um, but then when you think about the shed with the well in it, and then there's this other well in that world that it leads to that like leads to something dark and terrible.
It just
And
gets
that
worse and
kind of
worse.
parallels the Dark
Yeah.
Tower, how the deeper we get, the closer we get to the tower, the
Mm,
worse it gets. Like the more like
Hmm.
um
right.
uh, bad guys there are striving against the crew.
Hmm.
I never thought about it until now how like that's kind of the opposite of the way you think about it in normal fantasy. How like the deeper you
Yeah.
get, the closer to the truth. Whereas Stephen King, like the farther in you go, like the more
Right.
warped everything becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're right, because it's definitely like that with it. Oh my gosh, I could think of like any of his stories. I think that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
And I almost like that's another reason I'm really excited to get to the dark well in Fairy Tale is because clearly it's a well, right? So it goes into the ground and goes however far into the ground and leads who knows where. but that's what Charlie went down. So it's like it almost makes me think we're just going down and down and down and down. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's almost like being in a Mario game where you go down the pipes and keep going down the pipes.
Mario's another great example. Eventually you end up in Bowser's Castle.
There you go. Yeah, see? So I had this brief thought. I was like, what if he goes down this dark well and he just like ends up at home?
No.
How ridiculous would that be? But not at home, but like
Home after
meaning,
the events
like,
of the stand. Sorry.
like there you go. Home in the world of the gunslinger in the first book. Just crazy. No, it's like how like wild would it be if it was just like it's all connected somehow and it's
With pipes.
with weird wells and pipes. Yeah. It's just oh man. It's not gonna happen.
There's a
crazy,
book series that I really enjoy. That is like a modern day like good versus evil fantasy, and it was written in Russian by Sergei Lukyanenko. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But there was a movie that they put out that was on Netflix years ago. It's called The Night Watch.
Oh wait, that sounds I mean, I haven't seen it, but it sounds familiar.
And their magic system was based on stepping like behind reality, and there were like levels to that. And like the deeper you got, the more like warped and strange reality was. And that's another example of like you go deeper and it gets weirder.
Huh, interesting. To kind of like piggyback off your idea, I had this thought about Lovecraft, and obviously he not grew up, but he lived during the 20s. That's when he did the majority of his writing, and he had a very interesting view of the world. So when he thought of space, right? So you take like Edgar Rice Burroughs, and when he thought of Mars, he thought of like John Carter and like these warriors and kind of swashbuckling adventures. Whereas you take Lovecraft, who had like a complete opposite view, and he's like, well, if a meteor from space lands on Earth, it's just going to drain the life force out of everyone and drive them into madness. And he seemed to have like a distinct fear of the unknown, a very like a pessimistic view. And I almost wonder if a lot of his racism came from that as well, because it's like, oh, well, here's this different culture, these people from Poland or Italy. Oh, like what are they into?
Yeah, technically they're white, but are they? Okay.
But are they? And I wonder if maybe some of that racism just came from that, that fear of the unknown, the fear of like the deep sea or cosmic space or,
That's
dimensions
so
that we can't see.
Because I feel like it must have like
it had
to psychology, and I bet he would never have said that that's like that it had
I don't think he would have
any like parallel like
yeah,
that.
I don't think he would
like,
have admitted that for sure.
Yeah.
When you were talking about that, the first thing I thought it was like, maybe that's where his racism came from.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, to be honest, if you think about it, if you generally those who are racist it's because it's out of fear of the unknown, really.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand the culture, they don't understand the people or the person, and so they just create these fantasies that are you know what I mean. I don't know, probably not in every case, I don't know, but that's at least if you take, I don't know, take the 1960s or take the 1940s, or in Germany they created all, I mean, yeah, you can just go back and go back in history at any point, and Nazi Germany, they created these just these stories about Jewish people that were like nowhere near true. Like I think they even called them like demons or something. Like how does that even make sense? They're human beings, they're human beings. You're just creating fantastical. I think they called some of them vampires or something. I don't know. Just to kind of almost affirm their fear instead of just being like, I'm afraid of this person because I don't understand them.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh no, but they're a vampire and they'll kill me and suck my blood, and like that's way more affirming than it is to explain away why you're afraid of a human being.
Yeah, and it's funny that you guys both kind of picked up on that because at the end of The Color of Space, so you have this ground that's basically been cursed where no one wants to go there, and he even says like, and no one wanted to live there, not even the people from Poland, and not even the gypsies with their weird and mystical ways. You would think if anyone would want to live on cursed land, it would be the gypsies with
Especially the
their
gypsies.
magics, but not even they would live there. So,
It's so
um,
cursed.
I am kind of
So
making
cursed.
Yeah.
fun of it, but yeah, it's almost like he did fear gypsies and thought that they might be literally practicing magic. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
He's
there
probably
you
like, look,
go.
I don't want to upset those gypsies because they're gonna
Yeah,
put a curse on me, and I don't know.
like David Bradley.
Oh God. Okay, I think that's real.
It is 100% real. That there is no way that man is not cursed.
I'm pretty sure. I don't need proof other than what he
Uh-uh.
says.
Don't get anywhere near him.
Mm-mm. I might I'm afraid just to know who he is.
I don't know who he is. Should I not research this?
I think
Don't.
no. Well, he works at Novatech, so
No.
yeah.
I thought he was some author
No.
or like he made films.
No. He's an L2.
Okay.
He's an
Thomas,
L2.
he is
Let
literally
me into
cursed.
the
Like, we're not even
mythos of the
joking.
IT team.
It's
It's
uncanny, like the
it's
amount of like
insanity.
bad things that befall him. Like, it doesn't even make
And
sense.
not just him, but then like it extends to the people that he knows. So it's like
Yeah.
don't tell me more about you, because then I know more about you. So then I'm in your line of the curse. Like I'm in the firing line.
The light of the curse.
Like
He
I
is like
don't
something from a
need to
horror
know more.
movie.
It's
Oh
so
man.
strange. I don't understand.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah. It's
I'm
almost
so
on a
glad
weekly
that was the
basis.
answer.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look him up. You're probably not gonna find much on him, if anything.
That would be kind of an interesting plot for like a short story. Like a guy that's cursed.
Just
And like the
constantly cursed.
closer, yeah, like the closer you get to him or the more you investigate him, like that it spreads to you.
The closer, yeah, the closer the curse like reaches out to
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
stems from him, but it can
Yeah.
it's far reaching if you're not careful. Yeah.
It's called the manager's nightmare.
But he can't but he can't control it. It's not like he's got this like weird curse superpower that he just like wields on people. It just
Mm-mm.
happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that idea.
Funny fact about Stephen King, since I know you guys like trivia. So
Mm.
Owen King teamed up with his father to do Sleeping Beauties, and the premise is,
Yeah.
what if all the women in the world fell asleep and didn't wake up?
Yeah.
And I was watching an interview with them, and so seeing that dynamic between father and son, and they're both writers, and Owen says something to the effect of like, I think I should reveal, what I had to do for you to get money. And apparently Stephen King really liked audiobooks but didn't want to pay for them. So he paid Owen to read into a tape recorder like Lord of the Rings or Dune and all these
Oh my gosh, that's
That's
various
amazing.
such an
books.
extensive body of work already, just
he
those.
he would read it into the tape recorder and then give it to his dad to earn money. And then
Aren't audiobooks like not very much?
I guess
I
back
don't.
then they didn't have
Okay, I guess
them.
if it was okay, yeah, if you're doing it into a tape recorder, so then this
Yeah,
was a while ago. Okay, that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
bet audiobooks were a lot more expensive back then too. Like if you had
That
to get
would
like a
make
bunch of
yeah,
sense.
CDs or something or a bunch of
Yeah.
cassettes.
Yeah.
yeah. and he liked a lot of the books, like I think he's a very varied reader, so he's probably doing like Crime and Punishment and mysteries and etc. But when Owen would come across a book that he didn't like, then he would do like funny voices to kind of like entertain himself.
Oh, that's great. This book is boring. I'm gonna make weird voices.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I thought that was really entertaining.
I love that little
Yeah.
fact.
Maybe I can do that for Justin.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
that's so cute.
He comes in the room. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "You're ruining it." The
Damn it.
voices.
But listen to my weird voices. Listen to them
Got like a
in the
boom
final
box
product.
that's like this big to record it into.
What story would you do if you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. Probably the select. No, because that has so many pictures.
There's too many pictures.
It's a great book. Maybe the Dresden Files, because I feel like I would really enjoy reading them, like out
Those are
loud. I
good.
feel like I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
That'd be awesome.
I'll
Yeah.
let you know. I feel like I don't have the
Okay.
bandwidth to do this. I'm overextending myself.
Yeah. Maybe Christmas. Next Christmas. Not this Christmas,
Yeah.
but the next one.
Yeah.
2030.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Witcher short story.
Once upon a time.
Oh,
Ooh.
no, keep going.
Do
Keep
the
going.
gravelly voice. Yes.
Yeah. What was that?
Actually,
more.
we found a new role-playing game. We were talking to Jeremy about it this morning. That's so fun. We do voices when we do like D&D and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I got to talk like this old man all day yesterday as I was role-playing Arthur Roger Tribley. And it was amazing for me.
That's such a great voice.
And the
I love
character
it.
has the only like his worst score is charm, which is like your interaction with people. And so I'd be role playing and I'd be like talking to somebody, and then I'd like finish and realize that I just tried to manipulate someone. He'd be like, "Okay, now roll it." And so I roll and I have a -1 in it, and I fucking failed every single one of them that I did. And at one point he was like, "That's what you thought you said in your head. That's what you thought you said to this person. What did it really sound like?" And I had to like go back and retcon like how I fucked it up. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
it was a good time.
That sounds great. I love that. You should bring that voice out.
Sure.
Whenever.
On
Absolutely.
the phone.
I was about to say, answer phone calls tomorrow.
Thanks for calling Novatech.
I'm just sitting here on my porch.
What's wrong with your printer?
Oh, you got lines on your print. I see. That'll happen.
It's like telling Misha she needs to answer her phone calls in an Australian accent. She can do that, and then you can do it in your southern guy voice, your southern old guy voice. I love it.
We'll have like funny voice day at Novatech.
Yeah.
We used to do that at Starbucks. We'd answer like pirates or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's amazing.
What was more amazing is the amount of people that just ordered.
There's just
no
like,
response at all.
Whatever.
Like, you're
Great.
welcome to Starbucks. Thomas. What you having today?
Starbucks.
A grande latte.
Or like, I don't.
No
I'm
response.
just gonna get my weird coffee and leave.
The weird coffee.
my coffee that's not real coffee, and then go.
Yep.
Oh, shots
And that's what-
fired.
Ah,
Shots fired. Okay.
I worked there. I know what it is.
Okay.
I pressed a button for espresso.
I pressed a button.
I see.
There you go.
It's because Richie worked at that. It worked. What was he like? The manager of like the coffee selection. So you're like, this is
was
weird
the-
coffee.
This was his title. It's a great title. I still love it to this day. Coffee director. It's so good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and he would.
Coffee.
That was part of his job was like literally selecting the coffee that they served there, and yeah. But now he works for Chrome Yellow, which I still haven't been to, but it's somewhere in Atlanta, which is also a coffee shop, by the way.
Chrome Yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Chrome Yellow. Please sponsor us.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Like and subscribe.
Also, please
Like and
get this
subscribe.
free coffee because it's really good.
Oh.
This place actually roasts their own beans. Whereas where he used to work, they did not roast their own, but they got their beans from Counterculture, which is like a very popular. They get it from like all over the world, and they partner with them and stuff, and like Guatemala and Jamaica and I don't know,
Okay.
wherever else you grow
Okay.
coffee.
Yeah. Hawaii.
Hawaii, I don't know, the high
Nice.
altitude places.
Nice.
But this place, I don't know where they get their like beans from, but they roast the beans at Chrome Yellow.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kind of want to go now.
I want to go. I still haven't been. We haven't
Hmm.
visited him at work yet.
Adventure.
We like to go visit him and like make things weird.
He won't know who I am, so I'll just make things weird. Like,
There's a particular smile that one gets when you're standing in line for somebody you know at
Yeah.
their place of work and they don't expect you to be there. It's one of the best smiles.
We did that a lot where he used to work, and it was great. We just like wouldn't text him or anything. We wouldn't let him know that we were gonna be there. We would just show up.
I think he really likes Radiohead, so I would just like
does.
randomly reference like Radiohead just out of the blue and be like,
Yeah.
wow, that In Rainbows album. Am I right, bro? And he'll be like, what?
He's like the biggest Radiohead fan that I think I've ever met. I'm sure there's like bigger fans out there, but he knows like all about Radiohead and is, like the
Really?
old like is super into all, like the old stuff, and I know like In Rainbows, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then like some random songs here and there from other albums.
Huh.
Oh man, their like discography is so huge at this point. It's almost like I don't even know where to start, and it's overwhelming.
Oh,
You know.
I can recommend some.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Yeah, you could recommend some. I could ask Richie. Bo could help me out too, because he likes them, but Richie's
Yeah.
definitely the bigger fan for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So you could totally
nice.
talk Radiohead with him, and he'd be like all about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also really likes cake. Like
Okay.
artist,
That now hang on. That's
not
a
the
bit
food.
surprising.
Not to say he doesn't like the food, but he, the artist. Yeah, I know, right? He's a big cake fan.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right.
It's very strange.
And that's a good place to wrap up the episode.
We're gonna end on cake.
End on
We're
cake.
gonna end on that. Okay. Cool. I will stop the recording, but I just wanted to say something for 1 minute after I stop the recording. So don't leave. Don't leave.
Secrets.
Okay.
You can't
will
know
stay
sluts.
here.
Secrets subscribers.
know.
Sorry.
We keep
Sorry.
secrets from you.
Not everything we say here stays here.